Hello, friends. I'm in Paris. This is the Jardin de Tuileries. It's a big park, and there is a Ferris wheel here, and there's a Christmas market, and it's a mild day, and so a lot of people are out enjoying the lovely weather and the Christmas spirit. And I am here to share a little bit of my experience with you, some tips around how do I afford to live in different countries when I don't have a job here. And a lot of you know that I do it. One of my big hacks is house sitting. Now, I'm not house sitting here in Paris. I'm actually staying at a hostel, which is another one of my hacks in between house sits. But I'm going to share with you a few of my tips around how to really make it work if you want to explore a bit with house sitting. So what I use is an app called Trusted Housesitters, which is based in the UK. Now, there are international sits all over the world. However, the preponderance of them, most of them are in England. So for 6 months, I was in England with 1 month in the middle in Scotland. And almost that entire time, I did not pay rent or hotels. I had free rent through Trusted Housesitters. Now, with Trusted Housesitters, no money is exchanged. It is an exchange of energy and trust. So they offer a nice home in a nice location that people would want to stay at. And in exchange, I offer to take care of their animals, their garden. Sometimes they have chickens. Some people have horses, though I don't take care of horses, but I've done a lot of dogs, cats, and some chickens, and I've gotten free eggs. And then you take care of their house. You try to make it nice when they come back. Here you can see more of the park. And the garden, sometimes it involved quite a bit of watering, sometimes using watering cans because there was a drought, and that was, some labor. Sometimes the dogs require 2 or 3 walks a day, so there is some labor involved there. And sometimes the hosts give you food. Usually they tell you to help yourself with what's in the larder or what's in the fridge. And then sometimes they have been kind enough to buy me food. Sometimes they give me dinner on my first night, etc. So it's a trust, and it can develop into like a friendship or certainly a friendly relationship. So I've had a lot of success with that and really enjoyed it thoroughly. In fact, I've gotten more pleasure out of the dogs and cats as the months go by. I think I'm just like even more connected with the animals than I was a year ago. So how do I land these sits? An important thing is to have a good profile. You join for a year and you put a profile up there that gives them a taste of your personality, what you're about, why you like to house sit. And you put your testimonials on there. If you have never, if it's your first time on the site, then you can have offer people to share your testimonials by email, and you put whatever information you can. You do the verification also so that they can feel that they trust you. And then you apply. So one of the tricks I found is that if there's something that I'm interested in, I create searches for myself, and I have saved searches, and so it's quick and easy for me to check and see. For example, right now I'm looking for sits in Ireland. That's my next country. So I have a search already saved. Just click on that, every morning when I wake up, and see what came in during the night and apply for it as soon as possible. The reason for this is because the sit applications are capped at 5. Once the host has answered 5 people, then it gets taken off of the platform. So you cannot apply after that. So you want to be one of the first 5 people, preferably the first one. And that helps, and it shows them your enthusiasm, of course, too. Then in order to apply, you write a letter. So for that, I use a template. I save my letters, and then I personalize them. I put the pets' names. I put something about their location, about the amount of time that I'll be sitting there, something about why I want to visit that country. and try to put a lot of emphasis on their animals, not so much emphasis on any sightseeing that I want to do, so that they understand that I am really going to be dedicated to what their animals need, such as, you know, how many hours a day they want you to limit your, you know, adventures, etc. So to make it very focused towards their pets and their needs, and I request a video call. So then, if they pick me, then they schedule a video call, and I often share my WhatsApp number, you know, on the first message, so we can communicate quickly that way. And then we do a video call, either on WhatsApp or Zoom, and you know, that's a nice chance for us to get to know each other, for people to see if they trust each other and feel comfortable. You can even see the pets, see the house, ask each other questions. Again, I try to not ask so many questions, but really to listen. The main question that I ask is, what's this, and if it's not already answered, what's the situation with getting groceries? And I have found that this has become less of a problem than I probably originally thought it was, because the high-end grocery stores and supermarkets deliver to the country areas in most cases. I mean, they deliver in the cities and the suburbs too, but it's the country areas where you might have a problem, because not having a car and having to walk to the shop, sometimes it's a 5-minute walk, but sometimes it's a 45-minute walk. So I have taken to having boxes of groceries delivered. Yes, you do pay a small fee, and yes, you do have to get your application approved by the grocery store, but it works, and I've done it a lot. So, you know, it's great to know what this transportation is with the buses and all, but a lot of that you can really find by Google Maps. Another tip I have is, once you get the sit and you're going to the country, get a local SIM card as soon as possible, because you will feel so grounded if you have data on your phone. Not in the airport, of course, because it's expensive, but as soon as you get to the town, like, you know, the next day after you arrive, it's so much easier to navigate everything with data. Now, of course, you will have Wi-Fi in the hosts' homes, but you want to know what you're doing when you're out on the streets. So that's an important thing. Another important thing that I found is, if you have dogs involved, try to make sure that they're having you come while they are still there, and have plenty of time to introduce you to the dog, maybe go for a walk with the dog, you know, get comfortable with each other. And the experienced hosts, they know this and they want to do this. A couple of inexperienced hosts that I had this year didn't do it. With one of them, it was absolutely fine. There was 2 super friendly golden retrievers that would have let burglars in, no problem. With the other one, it was a skittish dog, and his owners had already left, and he did not have experience with a house sitter that he didn't know, and he stayed away from me for the whole 9 days. So that was pretty awkward. It was hard to feed him. It was hard to get him in and out of the house. The host was worried, etc. I did the very best I could. I was as gentle and kind as I could be, but it wasn't something that I could really solve. The best solution is to get there before they leave. So that's one of my big tips. And then, as far as getting along with the animals, really important to get down on the floor and play with them. I like doing yoga and stretches on the floor, and that seems to have gone over really great with cats and dogs. They love it. You know, just really taking the responsibility seriously. Like, don't try to overdo. In my early days of house sitting, like 7 years ago, I tended to try to do too much in the city and get around too much. I'm learning to keep it simpler when I am house sitting, to really focus on those animals and what they need. And another thing is, you can ask for help, and it's a good thing to ask for that before the hosts leave. Is there a neighbor? Is there a family member? Who could I contact if I need help? I have received help going to the grocery store, but actually going to another shop and buying clothes and drugstore supplies. That was from one of the host's daughters, who was super kind, and she lived right nearby. I've gotten help from next door neighbors when I couldn't work the key. and when I could not get the hose to work, you know, different things like that. People were really nice. So those are some of my favorite tips. And then when it's over, very important to write a review as soon as possible. That gives you better reviews with Trusted House Sitters as a good sitter, and also it will encourage the host to write a review for you. And it's like Yelp or Airbnb, where you know you are going to accumulate hopefully 5-star reviews, and you will accumulate, you know, messages saying that Justy was a good house sitter, etc. Um, those are my main tips. You know, I have had 14 sits so far this year, from March 23rd until now, and the last one ended at the beginning of November. And then I have another one coming up in a couple of weeks. That's a lot of sits. That's a lot of sits. You can really book them back to back. Be careful that they don't overlap, but most of the time Trusted House Sitters catches that and won't allow you to sit on a day that you already have a sit. So it's really pretty well covered. You just want to, you know, check in with the hosts of the arrival times and departure times to make sure that you have enough time to take the trains to the next sit. But it's actually been a lot of fun and really helped me to explore England, Scotland, France, and next is coming up Ireland. I've also done sits in the U.S. It can work in the U.S. I tested it out first in New York City and got a great sit in a penthouse in the Upper West Side. So that's about 12 minutes of my house sitting hacks. I will say that the price has gone up $20 this year, and they are now adding a $12 booking fee. Haven't done it yet, but they're about to, for every booking that you do. So prices are going up with this, like they are with pretty much everything in the United States and Europe and many other places too. However, it still pays for itself in 1 week. 1 week at an Airbnb, and you've paid for your Trusted House sit. So I'm going to do it again. And I am putting a link in the description for you to get a 25% discount off of it. And then if you sign up other people, you will get 2 free months. So they incentivize us to share it, and I'm happy to share it. I've shared it with people who've been really happy to be hosts as well as to be sitters. So ask me questions about my nomad life. I'm most happy to share my experience with you and encourage you to check it out. To mainly not just the nomad life, but to be free, to experiment, to think outside of the box, to try something and try being even freer than you already are. Have an awesome day. Bye from Paris.